Jordan B. Peterson has been an incredible friend to the Jews since October 7th and really his whole life. And in this clip, somebody asks him what he thinks of Jews, just plainly out there, what he believes about Jews. And his answer was incredible. So check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below.
Maximox says, thoughts on the Jews? Well, that's complicated. Most of my friends are Jews, which is pretty interesting, you know. And when I grew up in northern Alberta, and there were no Jews up there at all. So coming out to eastern Canada, especially in Montreal, there were lots of Jewish people there, and I made friends with lots of them. And then in Toronto, like, and I think part of the reason that so many of my friends have been Jewish is because the Jews have, you know, and I'm obviously speaking in a very general sense, is they have a rich intellectual life and tremendous respect for intellectual pursuits. And so we have a natural affinity. And so, you know, more power to them as far as I'm concerned. There's a fair bit of evidence, especially with regards to the Ashkenazi Jews, that their average IQs are about 15 points higher than the general population, which accounts in part for the radical overrepresentation among Nobel Prize winners, for example, and also in positions of, let's say, authority and responsibility in many different domains. And it's like, man, I'm not unhappy about successful people. It's like, as I said, it's the same in relationship to money. As far as I'm concerned, it's not that you have a position of authority, and I'm not going to say power, because power and authority aren't the same thing. But if you have a position of authority, what matters is what you do with it. And so if competent people occupy positions of authority, then more power to them. That's lucky for the rest of us, I'll tell you that. So, and I think, you know, I've often thought this about the Jews too, is that if you're going to be a minority, you should at least have the decency to fail. And I think that part of the, because, you know, then, well, you're around and you're annoying because you're a minority, and, you know, because people are fundamentally ethnocentric, and all human beings are like that. But if a minority fails, then, well, you can say, well, at least they failed, and, you know, that maybe allows you not to hate them quite as much. But the Jews have this annoying proclivity where they go as a minority to become extremely successful, and of course nobody can stand that. And so that's a huge part of what accounts for anti-Semitism, which I regard as an absolutely, you know, abysmal and what would you call it, reprehensible a priori stance, you know. So that's some of my thoughts about them anyways.
Now notice he acknowledges the fact that Jews do have some advantage, real advantage within IQ and the success that we've achieved with regard to Nobel Prize winners, etc. But he doesn't see that as a bad thing. A lot of people look at, oh, the Jews are so successful, now that's a bad thing. Really successful people, and really people that are secure in what they bring to the table, aren't looking to shit on other people. And when they see that the Jews are successful, instead of saying, oh, wow, you know, disgusting, they're like, more power to them. Instead of, oh, there's a Jewish conspiracy trying to destroy the world, it's like, Jews are doing something right, you know? Maybe we should learn from them. So I think he was spot on here. And if you want to help us make more of these videos, go to buymeacoffee.com/Jewish Uncensored and subscribe to the channel below.